Okay. All right, so I'm thinking today I want to kind of tackle this car piece. So, freeze selection, three, hide this, hide everything else. And let's see, let's make sure it's recording. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys how I would go about making something like this car. It's a little more intricate, so it might take 2 classes or so, but we we will figure it out. We will knock this bad boy out. Okay. So it's kind of like this hot rod ish kind of thing. It's I don't know. It's got no top, so it's kind of like a convertible, I guess. I don't see any glass right here. So I'm trying to make out, what's going on here. It's got, wheels and everything can be pretty much done symmetrically. So I usually think, okay, well, I'll just do half and then I'll just symmetry the other side. So that's all we have to focus on is all these little pieces right here. And then I'll see how we'll tackle the smoke and stuff. And then um maybe after we finish this guy, we'll work on this guy. I like this expression on his face. He looks quite terrified. So let me show you guys how I would start something like this intricate piece right here. All right, so I would start with all the basic shapes. So I would start with, let's see, standard primitive. And I would just start using cylinders, these front ones, right? Boom, like that. And then the back one, which I think is always bigger in hot rods. So I'm gonna make it a copy, and then I'm just gonna actually make sure why. Let me make sure this guy doesn't even got much on him. So now I'll just go down, hold down shift, and I'll drag out, make it a copy, and then increase the radius. Alright, so if I hit Alt X, I can see through it, so I can know what I'm working through. And as you guys notice, I'm not going into detail at all. Like I don't care about the spokes or anything like that. This is just so I get my forms in place. So then I'll make a box because I believe this is, this guy's a box. So that's what I would do. PZ. Okay. So hit Alt X and then bring my Another thing I can do is instead of like trying to model it in that view, what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to shift drag this guy out here, make it a copy. I'm going to delete these guys because I'm not going to use these guys. I'm going to model it over here so I'm not disturbing anything. So I'm just hit F there. And what I want to do is actually I'm going to rotate this guy a little bit so that he's straight. And the way I make sure that it's straight on, like it's straight, is if I go to the front view, I can draw like a box. Make sure that it's straight. I can do this in like an external program, like I can do it in Photoshop and then bring it in, but I already have it in here, so. just gonna make sure it's straight so that whatever I'm modeling, I know that I'm modeling it like straight on. This is straight. Right? And I turn off my angle snaps so that I don't have I'm not all right. That feels good. And now I can freeze this. Freeze the selection. That. And then this is our plane. I don't need that anymore. And I can just bring my pieces back. So now it's going to be straight on. I can just model it straight on. And I know that in the end it'll be right. Alright, so it's got these little cove things there, but that's fine. Let's bring our tires out to the side because that's where they would be on the car. Let's go to the front view here. And it looks like it's got some kind of hood. So let's go into our box. I'm going to throw an edit poly modifier on there. For one on the keyboard, I'm just going to start pulling these guys out. Just to make sure I've got similar silhouette. Just like that. And I don't care that, it's not perfect right now. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm just worried about all the shapes that I see and all the assets that I need to make. Just turn this off. So now let's make these little headlight things. So they're just cylinders. And I'm just thinking about the symmetry right now. So I'm only making one because I don't wanna make both if I don't have to. So and I know that this is in perspective, so this light, if you look at where it is, it's over this this uh this fender or whatever you call it. So one on the keyboard. I don't need to make it anything fancy. That's fine. Alright. So I'm going to use the line tool here. And I want to make the fenders and the scoops. I'm just going to draw a line like so. Left click out for the back one. Alright, and then for the front one. Like that. So now, just going to pull these guys to our model right now. So I can see what it's doing. So I'm just going to pull this. And with this guy, the line, it's pretty cool. So I'm just going to turn on enable and render, and then I'll enable it in the viewport as well. So now that it's enabled in the viewport and in the renderer, right, we can see it. And I don't want it to be radial, I want it to be rectangular. So now I would just make it rectangular like that, and then reduce the width. And I can still affect the curve and everything if I don't like how it's working. So like I said before, like we're just blocking it out. Right, today is the block out phase, and that's what I'm trying to teach you guys is, hey, everything takes a process to do, no matter how big the project, no matter how big the model is or the small, it's you block it out, you do big shape first, And then you address the smaller shapes. So let's make this a Bezier corner so I can do that. And I'll enable a new renderer and enable in the viewport and then do the same thing. Just make it smaller and reduce the width. Alright, and I don't care that they're not like perfect right now. I'm just getting those shapes in place. And I'm only doing it on one side because, symmetry. And I know I say it over and over and over and over again, but I want it to sink in. I do want it to sink in. So it's also got this little bar thing right there. So I'm just gonna go into the left view, and then it's just a bar that goes from like right here, right there. I'm gonna only do half of it. This time I will make it radial. So now so it's already enabled in viewport, and actually this time I will actually make it a radial. Alright? Like I said, all I'm doing is placing everything in place. Alright, so let's see what else we're missing. Let's see, what am I missing now from this guy? And I know it's tilted like this, but about 20 degrees. Okay, so we're getting somewhere, you know? Alright, so put this handle here in there. Yeah, and just pull it. Our model. Okay. So we've got our windows. Okay, I guess there is a steering wheel. It looks like a dashboard or navigation. So put the steering wheel in. The steering wheel, you just draw a circle. Looks like he's got like paddles almost, like paddle shifters. No, it's a wheel. So I can just draw a circle and just rotate it 90. Okay. Look at that. We're done. Okay. You guys can turn this in, and I would give you guys all A minus for this. Look at this quality. Wow. It's like boxcar racing. Right? Alright. Obviously, we're not done. We're not close to finished. But I'm imagining there's going to be a seat in here somehow. So it's gonna be like an inset in here. This door is gonna open up. There's a little divot right here. There's like a little cut right here, and there's like the bottom of the car. And then if you notice, there's like this little grill, and then this rounded kind of hood. So there's pretty much three sections to this. Is what I would imagine is the engine of the car, the engine and the hood, which include these lights, then the body and the interior, and then there's the back and the boot, or in America, I think it's called the trunk of the car. So, yes, that is how we will approach this. So, three separate pieces, and that would be fine because that would allow us to kind of break open, this door that obviously you can't use, right? This fender is right in the way. Like, there's no way this guy is opening and closing this door. He has to hop out. But that's okay. We suspend our belief when it comes to Nintendo because, well, they've been good with our imagination. So, let's begin. Let us begin. Okay. I will select these two, the edges. I'm going to hit Alt X. I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit connect. I'm going to connect it with two. Right? We need two of these guys split up. So now if I hit one, I can just grab these guys. Bring them here. Because that's where the body is. This is where the door kind of ends or begins. And then this is where the body ends and the engine ends and the door begins. Right here. Okay. So my highest point is right there, so I know that, I need to maybe bring it a little lower because if the grill bottom is right there, I need to bring this a little bit lower just to make sure that we're capturing that entire body of it. And if you look at the wireframe right now, this is very ugly. These fenders that I have, these are very ugly. They're very rudimentary. This is us kind of just blocking them in. This is where you're picking up from the video. Okay. Let's see. So the next thing we can do is then just start to split them up. So I would just go like this. Actually, no, I'll do this. Control, then right click, and then I'm gonna split. Now I've got three individual pieces that I can mold to my liking. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. This front piece. This front piece, to get it to look more like our grill, we just need to throw a chamfer so we can get that. Just gonna right click it and then hit chamfer. Actually, let's go up one more in the stack. Let's add another edit poly because I might not like what I'm doing here and I want to change back. So let's just throw a chamfer on there. Let's do 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's do maybe 6 and then transition. I'm just trying to match that curve. I'm trying to match it. That's like right there. because the curve kind of starts here and ends here. All right, so you want to find the way I'm eyeing it, just so you guys know my thought process is, I'm trying to find where this curve stops and starts going straight, so that I know that my curve is doing the exact same thing. So it's like curved right here, and then it goes straight right here. Right, when you start seeing a straight line, you know yours should start going to a straight line, which is about right here. So that feels pretty good. Just gonna hit the check mark, and now we've got the makings of our hood. Okay. So now let's address this inside piece. So the first thing I really want to do is, let me delete. I'm gonna detach. This is a clone. Actually, detach as a clone. Let's go to the lore. And I'm just gonna use this, the one, and it's gonna be my base. Just gonna throw a shell on it now, just so I know, okay, I've got my floor. A foundation. Right, very important. Foundation. Right, and you can see right there, that white line, that's what I'm talking about. And this bottom piece has like kind of like a rolling grill, or like a bumper. So I'm gonna have to create that as well. This front part just needs to come back right there. And these guys come up to like right there. Alright, so now let's mess with these, and then you go back all the way to the wheel. So grab this like that. Remove this. Let's hit Alt Y to throw one in. I'm gonna right click this, just chamfer it a little bit to create that band. And then constrain this to the edge, so that I can move them up a little bit. It's actually not that thick. It's about that width. That little white piece right there. I think what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna create shapes. I'm gonna show you guys another little thing. I'm gonna create this. I'm gonna detach this as a clone. You guys will see. Attach it as a clone. Right, and then I can just throw a shell on it. objects. So now we've got kind of like this little piece right there. Alright, so I'm just going around adding a little bit of life to the different pieces. Not going too far yet. Just adding a little bit to everything. Not going into crazy detail. Just still hitting those broad shapes that make the object the object. Alright. So if you look at like a hot, let's see, Lotus 7. So this is the idea, I think, of it right here. It's one of these guys. Yeah, it's like a 1970 kind of Lotus creation. So this is, I think this, this would be the idea for it if it was a real car in real life. So, you can find real world examples of what they're trying to do and then just use those as your reference. Because I'm trying to see what the back would look like. So, see if we can. Okay, here we go. So something like this. So, boom, and it's got this kind of rounded back. It's got this leather cover and okay. So now I see. So I was just trying to see, okay, what would I do to this end piece right here? So I can just pull it out like so. Doesn't look like it goes further than this, but I'd probably just round out this guy right here. So just chamfer it. Not as much as the front one. Something decent. Right? And then this guy, right, there's like it's like a curve. So it would be, so we take this guy, control like that, and then just gonna select this guy right here, right click it, and then cap it. Because right now it's a hole since we split that mesh. And just gonna leave it alone because this is where the door would meet. Now I'd select this top part right here, and then I would chamfer this as well. So just a nice chamfer. Probably see how it's like it's really rounded here, so just gonna go for. It looks like it's like pulled back too, so there we go, something like that. So now we're starting to separate our body from the trunk and from the engine of the car. So this is a good spot for us to be in, and it's still 10:18, so we can make. I feel like I can make it pretty far on this guy. I don't think it's gonna be done, but I think we can make it pretty far. So now this is our door. All right, so it's kind of a smaller door. So I'm thinking about how I want to keep this. This guy goes like right there, and then the inside. So first things first though, this guy only comes up, the door only comes up to like right here, right? And then it kind of curves, it curves like into this guy. So we're gonna have to address that, all right? So the best way to really do that is just to add some edge loops. I'm gonna hit, let me select this actually, just move this guy a little bit over so that these pieces, just like that. And I'm going to select this edge again, ring it, right click it, and then connect. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is good. So now I can select these guys. I'm going to move them up a little bit. Hit 1 on the keyboard. 2. Grab these guys. I'm just going to use these guys to kind of build that curve back, and I think it gets straight again right there. So alright, it's all about planning ahead. Just planning ahead. That's all you gotta do. Just plan ahead. Alright. So now I can delete this inside piece right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and delete this top piece as well. So yeah, we've got a good blocking going on this bad boy. And I mean, let's see. So we've got our door in place, we've got our floor in place, and we've got our front in place. So let's see what else we can do. Me, actually, I'm gonna throw some edge loops in the middle of this door. And connect. By 4 again. Hit F on the keyboard to zoom in, because it's got kind of like a nice kind of cartoonish bend to it, and I want to throw that in there as well. So pull these polys up like so, just like that. Now you see it's got that nice contour till this point right here. And I might want to kind of match these guys right here. So I'm just going to select this guy and pull this guy a little further down. This guy right here. No, I want to match uh, this curve right here. And then the same for this. And then, so that means this would have to move up. Just like that. Okay. see right there if it's gonna be in the center. So I'm gonna go right there. You guys will see why here in a second. All right, so this guy's radius and scale needs to go up. Okay. Got that, we got that. Alright, so let's start thinking about these tires again. Let's start thinking about these tires. Alright, tires are kind of fun. I don't see the kind of thread. I think it's just got some basic tread pattern on there. And making tire tread is it's relatively easy. So there's a few different ways you can do it. So let's start with, I'll show you how to do it from top down. Alright, so if I have a shape for a tire tread that I want to make, so I think the one they have is like the V, the standard V tire threads. Let's see if I can see. It's kind of like this. There's a few different techniques you can use to kind of make that. So I'll start with plane actually. Start with the plane. Start with the plane. So if this is my pattern, okay, so I just do extrude. Just gonna chamfer it to give it a hard edge. I'm gonna do the same here. Just gonna chamfer these guys. So now if I turn on turbo mode, you guys will see what happens. It's kind of the tire tread. Let's go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna delete the excess. Okay, so this is pretty much my tire thread, my tread. I can just, let's do the array again. No, 0. I think it's X. Okay. Okay, I see what the issue is. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to make sure these are straight. Move these. And make sure these guys are straight this way. Make sure that these guys are straight this way. You can easily do that with all of these too. Alright, so let's try that again. Let's do it on the x-axis. Preview. I think it was like 2. 2.05, I think. sure that I have a straight line. Both sides. Scaling it in. Okay. Okay, so 10. Mm, I think it'll be enough. I hope it'll be enough. Just want to show you the technique. So I'm just gonna select this guy, convert these guys to an editable poly, just to show you. Now let's attach these guys. So the idea is that after this we can just hit bend, bend. No. Yes. And I think it's 90. And direction is it 180? Or 360? Okay. There we go. Alright. This is the idea. It's like, but first let me start stitching these guys back together. So I can just drag and I can target weld. Okay. Just gonna right click. No, this is the most backwards way of doing this, but Gotta do what you gotta do. I'm just gonna bridge it, ring, and then right click it, and then just collapse it. So now I've got nothing. Alright, so I'm gonna do that for the rest of these. Right click, then I can bridge like that. Hit ring. When control X is to collapse. Like that. Right click. Bridge. Where my bridge functions aren't there. Ring. Control X to collapse. Right. Just gonna bridge everything. Then come back. And collapse it. As you know, this is me having to go back and fix it. If I had built it right in the first place, it would just snap everything together, but I built it wrong. But, you know, I know how to fix it, so I don't really care. I'm just going back and selecting all of those guys so I can ring it, Control X, collapse it. Select it, ring it, Control X, collapse it. Now if I do my bend modifier, let's select everything, just don't select anything. Bend modifier, I've got myself a nice wheel. So now I can just hit edit poly. Let me shift drag this. Make it a copy. Then I can just select these guys, right? This is the last one, and then do the same thing where we bridge it, check mark, select it, and then let's ring it, then control X. Alright, so the cool thing about this stuff is, like, now that we've got this guy kind of done, shift drag this guy right there, make it a copy. Then I can just align it to our, let's do center, our wheel here. Delete this guy. Alright, so we've got this guy on our rim. All we would now need to do is select this guy, select these outer, and just bring these guys in. Alright. So remember I showed you guys geopoly last week or last class? So you see how it's all jagged here? If I want to make it a completely round circle, all I need to do is hit this geopoly and it's going to turn it into a completely round circle. So fix that. Okay, so now all I need to do is this guy, hit delete, select the insides, scale it in again, like so. Control select the verts. Alright, scale these guys in like a tire. Just gonna scale these guys in. Their tires are a lot thicker, so you're gonna want to bring this guy. Let's bring this guy in. Hit Alt X. Just gonna bring this guy in a bit more. Then after that, because they're kind of like off-roading tires, is what it looks like. Let's bring this guy in like a little bit like so. Let's put on a black tire color. All we do now is throw turbo smooth on it. Right. There's some off-road looking tires on this bad boy. So now let's make the rim. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little spoke holes. Let's hit this with an edit poly. Select this guy. Let's inset it and then see what we get. Okay. So, alright. So that's it. So 20-sided cylinder will give you the 5 sides you need. I just insetted it, inset it, insetted it. I just inset it now, and start to get the results I'm looking for. So actually, let's just start with this. Let's grow this out a little bit. Let's pull it in. This is our rim. So it looks like it's got a little bit of inset in it, or at the very least, yeah, it looks like it's inset, and then it's got this bulbous kind of thing in the middle. All right, it's got like that. So I'll just maybe inset this a little bit. Let's hit F4 so we can see it. Then we're gonna pull this guy out a little bit, and then double it again. And hit plus on this guy. Alright, so it's got this kind of rounded thing. Let's do 2 on this guy. I'm just gonna scale this guy in a little bit for whatever that thing is. And then it looks like it's got a little bit of space, and then it's got these. A little bit of space, and then it's got these. I'm gonna throw another edge loop in here. And then start to remove. So it's every 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just gonna delete those guys out of the way, like so. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna select this guy. I'm just gonna grow my selection just to where the rim is. Control I. I'm gonna delete it. I don't need all that extra, all that other stuff, all that extra other stuff. So, um, yeah. All right, so we've got our rim now. All we need to do now is just to add a shell to it. Just add a shell. We're gonna add it to the inner workings. I'm gonna make it a little thick. I'm gonna add maybe 2, 3 segments in there. And then let's hit turbo smooth to see what we're getting. Something like that. All right, so theirs is a little more squared off, so we might want to, in our edit poly here, we just want to select these guys right here. Select one of these each, ring them, right click, connect. And then we're gonna do maybe 2 connections, bring them up like this, and then hit check. And if we go back up, we get in something that looks more like that, which is what our reference is looking like. All right. So now let's make that kind of a silverish color, or gray. Does anybody have any questions so far?
No question.
No questions. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thanks for letting me know. I'm just gonna do it standard, just throw standard on there. So, okay, so now we've got our front tire, the body blocked out, and I was even able to get one of these pieces done. So, yeah, this is a good start. Okay, so now I can just move this here, and F on the keyboard, and then move this like so. Make it a copy since it's the rear tire, like so. Right, and just like that. We're on our way. So that's gonna be it for today. Tomorrow we will probably continue with this fender area. We're probably gonna continue with this front end and the interior. So let's see. So if you guys